recording this, and the reason I'm going to be recording it because there are some parents who are unable to attend this meeting, and we also have parents who have siblings in year 1 and in other classes, for example, so they want to they can't participate in both meetings. So for that reason, we're going to record it, and hopefully we're going to put it onto the website as well. So I do apologize. It does mean that your faces will be on the school website. Okay, so before I start the meeting, so we have put a lot of stuff in place in terms of social distancing and COVID-19 for the children. It's just so nice having the children back in. I mean, at the moment, it's a work in progress, and every day as we come in to the school, it's getting better and better. So at the moment, what is in place for year 2, as soon as they come through the gate in the morning, as you can see, you have to kind of sort of drop your child by the gate, and we do come out quite early as well, so that some parents who do get to school quite early, they can able to drop their child off and then go off to you know, wherever they need to go to, just to kind of sort of minimize, you know, a lot of parents sort of gathering by the school gate. So you're more than welcome to do that. So we will be out there from 8:30 as we have been doing so far. And then as soon as the children come in through the gate or by their classroom, they will have hand sanitizers. I'm just going to another parent in. They will have a hand sanitizer they'll be able to use. And then when they come into the classroom, they have got their own bubble. Although they are working within year 2, it means that the teacher who's going to be working with any particular class, for example, if I'm working with Foxglove, I cannot go to another class. If I, for any reason, even though I'm the assistant head and the year leader for the school, if there is any need for me to go to another class, I have to make sure that I'm wearing a mask to go into another classroom. Because I'm working as a bubble with my classroom, I don't have to wear the mask with them, because obviously they need to see the reaction of my face and you know, and also when I explain the work to them as well, and especially when it comes to reading, it's quite hard to wear the mask. And I don't think, you know, in terms of research, I don't think this has been known for any children, luckily, that have actually, you know, had the virus or anything like that. We haven't had any information of that, and hopefully it will stay that way. Now, also what used to happen last year before the COVID-19, the year 1 and year 2 children will have their playtime together. But now we've got this staggered playtime, which means the year 2 and year 1 children have got separate playtime. And in terms of the equipment that they're going to be using as well, they have separate equipment which get cleaned every time that they use it. We have a cleaner on site in the school. We used to have the cleaners that just used to come in after school, but now our cleaners are constantly in the school, make sure that they wipe the tables and they're cleaning all the equipment that the children use, so it's ready for the other children to start using them as well. Lunch times has been done differently as well. So can I just let some parents in? Okay. Lunchtime is slightly different as well. What in last year before COVID-19, the year 1s, year 2s, and reception children, they would have their lunch in the hall. But because of COVID-19 now, year 2 children have their lunch brought to them into the classroom. So they have their lunch in the classroom as well as everybody else. The only children who are having their lunch in the hall at the moment are the reception children. So that's you know, so those are what we have in place and guidance that we've been given by the government and also by the head teacher in terms of kind of sort of keeping the children safe to be in school. Okay, right. So let's start the meeting then. I'm going to share a screen with you, so hopefully you'll be able to see. Just let me know if you can all see the screen. Are you all able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just get this back up. So the points of discussion that I'm going to discuss with you, hopefully I won't keep you too long, is just the year 2 team and what it is like in the day of life of a year 2 child, and also the way that we run PE, some of the learning that we're going to be doing, home learning, maths, English, spelling, and reading. And then hopefully at the end, you'll be able to ask me any questions that you want to ask. But I think you've had a chance to kind of sort of go through Meet the Teacher in year 1. So it is slightly similar. Just there are just few things that's going to be different. So for example, in the year 2 team, we have Miss Carson, who's in Snapdragon, and myself, I'm the class teacher for Foxglove. So I'll be in here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I'll be sharing the classroom with Mrs. Romanji, who will be in here Thursday and Friday. And we also have Mr. Gorod, who's in Lily class, and we also got Miss P, who is in Primrose class as well. Just going to let another parent in. Okay, right. So I'm just letting another parent, while I'm speaking to you, there's a lot of parents who are sort of joining in. Okay, so the way that we kind of sort of have our timetable, every morning the children will be going through a daily timetable that we go through the children. So for example, on a Monday, Thursday, we have phonics in the morning, and then literacy. And then what we do, we normally have all our core subjects early in the morning. So for example, when the children do come in, we do the register and we do the lunches, which lunches that they're going to be having. And then what we do phonics, which is quite important for the children, even though they are in year 2, and we do have some very good readers, just to help them in case that they get stuck on a particular word that becomes tricky for them. So they need to be able to know how to kind of sort of read that word without sort of skipping the word. So for example, they will be able to kind of sort of sound out the word. They will be able to use sort of break up the words into 2 parts just to help them read. And then what we do after we do the phonics, we go into literacy, which is about their writing. And then after, they will have a playtime on their own with the other year 2 classes. And then after the playtime, they will have also, they will have maths before lunch. And then after lunchtime, what we normally tend to have, we have all our topics in the afternoon. The reason that we have the core subjects in the morning, we just feel that the children are more focused. And also, just in case that there are some areas that we want to focus on the children, sometimes what we can do, if there's a particular child who's a little bit behind in terms of their reading or writing, we kind of sort of use, the times that they have a bit of topic to kind of sort of help them or support them, or depending on what level or where they are in their learning, in terms of reading and writing, we'll be able to put them into an intervention group that will support them and boost their reading and writing or maths or anywhere in the core subjects. Apart from that, we have our PE, science, ICT, and also we sometimes do a whole class comprehension with reading. Okay. Sorry, my screen is stuck. Okay. Right. So I think the days that we have PE, for some reason the Snapdragon's come up with the days that we have PE in Foxglove, rather than me telling you the whole of the other classes, we have PE on Thursday and Friday, not necessarily on Monday and Friday, that's for Snapdragon. So the children will be able to have an outdoor PE lesson. So when they do go to outdoors, even though it's quite nice and warm at the moment, they can kind of sort of wear their shorts and t-shirts and plimsolls. But as you know, in the winter, the weather will get slightly colder. So we would advise you to kind of support something warm that they can do, they can use outside. For example, a tracksuit or a tracksuit top as well as their plimsolls, please. And then we have an indoor PE once a week as well. So we have 2 PE sessions. So the indoor PE, I think normally either Friday or Thursday, depending on the weather. It doesn't really matter which day that we kind of sort of use. So they have 2 PE sessions. So the Friday one will be the indoor PE, where they will be in the hall with their class and with their class teacher, and they will only need to wear the plimsolls, shorts, and t-shirt. So we will teach the children which particular PE kit that they need to wear on that particular day, and sort of help them and support them. What we would need from you, which will come up on the next slide, is if you haven't already brought the PE kit for your child, is if you can bring it in, and then the children will be able to leave their PE kit in the bag on their peg where they hang their coat, and then it just stays there half-termly. And if we feel that maybe they have they've had an accident, or maybe they have spilled something on it, or maybe it's quite dirty, then we will inform you for you to take a PE kit home to wash it for your child. But for the time being, we recommended that you bring in the PE kit for the child, and then it stays in the school half-termly. Because sometimes what tends to happen is we may do a sports-related activity, which may not relate to PE. We may do a sports-related activity, and we need the children to get changed into a PE kit. So that's the reason that we ask you to kind of sort of leave their PE kit in PE. And also because they're still young and small, it may not be possible for them to be carrying all their equipment with them. Really sorry, it's just a lot of parents that sort of come in and... Okay, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, my screen is stuck, I'm really sorry. Right, okay. You still be able to see the screen. Okay, we're going to go to home learning. I'm just kind of sort of minimized it because it won't allow me to do the full screen. So I hope you can sort of see. So now the home learning is your chance to help your child to learn and find a quiet time of homework. We do understand there's going to be a lot of parents who are going to be really, really busy. So some of the things that we teach the children is to be independent. At a young age is probably the best time to kind of sort of teach your child to be quite independent. So when they do come in with a reading book or a home learning, in terms of like their homework that's been set for them, please allow them to have a go themselves, and do encourage your child, you know, before you actually listen to them, do encourage them to kind of sort of get them to kind of sort of sit somewhere quiet, away from the TV or away from distraction, where they just read to themselves. And then after they read the book, maybe you can kind of sort of say to them, right, you know, you had a chance to read your book. Let me hear you read to me now. And one of the things that we have noticed is the more that you actually, you know, the more your child reads, which is something that we do in school quite a lot, the better their vocabulary becomes, and the better reader that they become as well. Now, you know your child will be coming in with a particular color band. The way that we kind of sort of assess those color bands as well is if we feel the child can read up to 5 or 6 books as a school, that they can read fluently, and they're able to answer all the comprehension questions correctly, and they understand the book deeply as well, then we normally move the child to a different color band, which is always quite good. But if we do feel there's a particular child who's reading the book really, really well, we don't actually have to kind of keep them to those 6 books. As long as they are meeting our assessment criteria, we can kind of sort of move them up quickly. So it's very important that you get to read with your child as much as possible, or even allow them to read by themselves as much as possible. And hopefully when the libraries do open up again, you know, it'll be a good opportunity for you to take your child to the library as well. So the next slide I'm going to show you is the home learning sheet, which is going to be slightly different from the way the year 1 used to do the home learning. So every Friday, your child will bring home this sort of template. It's just an example to show you. It will have possible talk task for you to do your work activity with your child. There will be a reading task as well. Now, there's always going to be a writing task and a maths task that your child is going to be doing. Okay. Now, all of that has to be done in the child's home learning book as well. Okay. Which is a sort of bright, it's the same one as the one that they had in year 1. It's going to be the exact same one, so they can use that one. So once they take the homework, the home learning from Friday, they can kind of sort of return on the following Tuesday. We used to have the children bringing it back on the Monday, but what tends to happen is that some parents or some children may go away for the weekend and they didn't have a chance to kind of sort of do the homework. So we've given you that extra day for your child to do the homework. But if any reason your child is unable to do the home learning or can't access the home learning, please just let us know either by email or just let the teacher know, and hopefully we'll give them time for them to do it in the classroom. I think I've already explained that to you. They would have a numeracy homework. Okay. Now, as well as that, we also have what you call a big maths test every Friday. And this will be sent home so that you can actually see, you know, what results that your child has. You can kind of sort of see. So the big maths one is just usually a lot of mental maths. So it will be multiplication, addition, division. Now, year 2 are expected to know their 2's times table, 3's times table, 4 times table, 5 times table, and their 10's times table. So we're going to be using a lot of that to assess them how they know, and you know, and so that they can kind of sort of you know, do quick. They'll be able to answer that very quickly. And the way that we kind of sort of teach them, we don't get the children to memorize the times table that where a lot of us may have learned it in a you know, different place. So, for example, if, you know, we don't want to teach the children as 2 times 5, 2 times 6, 2 times 7. We don't want to do it in that kind of sequence. The way that we teach the maths, which kind of sort of sticks with them in their long memory as well, is kind of sort of talk to them as doubles. So 2, 4, 6, 8. One of the other reasons that we do that as well is they need to understand that multiplication can be done in any order. So, for example, if you just teach them the 2 times table, they will just memorize the 2 times table. And then if you teach them the 3 times table, they will just memorize the 3 times table. Therefore, if they come across 2 times 3, they will be able to answer that. But if they come across 3 times 2, they may get a little bit stuck and say to you, oh, I haven't done that. So it's better to always kind of sort of teach them as multiples or doubles. At the same time, whichever way that you support your child is absolutely fine. If you're teaching it that way, it's absolutely fine as well. It just means that when they come to school, they will have the experience that they learned from you and the experience that we're going to, so they'll actually put the two together. So it's not a bad idea at all. So some of the big maths that they're going to be tested on, one of them is like this one, okay? And we also kind of sort of put them into you know, ability group. So, you know, I think this is just an easy one that I'm just showing you of addition. And then there's another one that comes up on here as well. We use a lot of missing numbers, as you can see the missing number on here, which is quite a good idea to do with the children. We also use a lot of sequence numbers, a lot of double numbers as well, just to know their tens. And you can see the 2 times table. As you can see, there isn't 2 times table at all. We're using as doubles, like 2, 4, 6, 8, as it is written on here. The next one is the spellings. So spellings are given on every Friday as well. And there will be a short spelling test on the following Friday that the children will be having. So once they're given their homework, they will have their spellings to go home with them as well. And I do apologize. I think a lot of you received the sheet that said, you know, for them to practice their sentences in their homework book. We do apologize. That was an error from us. That was written on the template for the spellings. So the spellings, the way that we do the spellings, now the children in year 2, they have to learn their everyday words. They're called common exception words. You might be able to find online if you just type in common exception words. And these are the words that we want the children to learn. It's the everyday words that they're going to be using and seeing everywhere. For example, like door, father, could, should, all of those ones are what you call a common exception word that we expect the year 2 children to be able to learn. So they will take 5 of those common exception words to learn at home. And also the other 5 will be coming from the words that we feel that majority of the children or your child keeps getting stuck on all the time, that he's going to be using in the classroom. For example, it could be sort of tricky words, okay? For example, like the words like unhappy or excited. There are words that will not be coming up in the common exception word. So we'll give them 5 of the words that they keep getting stuck on. Usually also when we are doing a particular topic, you know, we use particular different vocabulary. So it might be that vocabulary that they're getting stuck on. So every half termly, we have a different topic that we're going to be focusing on. So it could well be that as well. And I think majority of you have seen what the spellings look like. And I do believe it's the same one as the ones that they were using in year 1. So do encourage them to kind of sort of say it, uncover it, and also just maybe kind of sort of test them at home as well. If you have another book you can use, or you can use their homework, it's absolutely fine. One of the other things that I would recommend you to do is not just to get them to memorize it, similar to the multiplication that I was talking about. If you get them to memorize the words, it will just stick with their short memory. So what we want is something that will stay with their long memory. So ask them to put it into a sentence, okay, each word. For example, here you've got look, okay? I looked at the clouds, or the boy looked at me, and etc. And also try and see if they can also join 2 sentences together. So if you've got 2 words in there, you know, you can try to get the children maybe to use 2 sentences, or even to try and get in, because what we teach in the children is when they're doing their writing, rather than writing a simple sentence with a capital letter and full stop, we want them to stretch their sentence, which is something that we're teaching them at an early age. You know, so for example, if they are if, for example, if they said, I saw a dinosaur this morning, so we say to the children, that's one sentence. Okay, now how can we stretch that sentence? I need to know, what the dinosaur was doing. So we kind of have a little games with the children. So we say to them, I saw a dinosaur that was drinking milk. Okay, so that would be another sentence. They kind of sort of stretched it. And then we say to the children, okay, you saw a dinosaur that was drinking the milk, but when did you see it? So they always add in their sentence, they always add in more and more information to their sentence. So then we will be able to say to the children, I saw a dinosaur drinking milk this morning or yesterday. And then when we say that, we say to them where, sometimes so they can add the school. So it's always adding a little bit more information and trying to ask them, a bit more about the sentence to make it bigger. So by the time that they start with one sentence, that sentence can actually become a whole paragraph. And at the end, if you want, we actually even want the children to do further information. So we say to them, why was that dinosaur there? Why was that dinosaur drinking milk? He was drinking the milk, perhaps maybe it was breakfast time, and so on. Right, okay. So reading, I think I've already spoken to you about the reading, but what is very important in terms of the reading is they need to make sure that they bring their reading record to school every single day. You will be able to see, because in order for us to change the books for the children, what we're going to be doing in year 2, we're going to be changing the books 2 days a week at least. Okay, so it will be the Tuesday or the Monday we're going to be changing for the children. So if you haven't initialed your child's reading record, we will not be able to change it, because that shows us that you haven't actually read with the child. We're not asking you to write a lot of comments about the child, but just put a little initial to say that you've read with your child, and we'll be able to kind of sort of, and then we're going to listen to the child and see that if they can actually read the book, and if they're able to read the book, then we'll be able to change them to another book. And sometimes we'll also record how many books that they had of that particular band as well. Another thing that would be a good idea when they bring a book at home to you, we've got these bookmarks that the children have actually taken last Friday. So this will be able to help you, to ask questions to your child so they can understand more about the book. And this is some of the questions that we assess with the children to see, whether they actually understand the book. We want them to read the book. That's the first priority. We want them to be fluent in reading the book. But at the same time, we want the children to be able to answer these the questions and to have a deep understanding of the text that they're reading as well. There will be book clubs. I think most of you are familiar with the book clubs. So hopefully by end of this week, they will all have their new book club logins. Now the book club logins, the only thing that's going to change is going to be just the name of the class, going to be Foxglove. Everything else is going to be the same. So where it was, the password was Daffodil, it's just going to change to Foxglove, but their first name will stay the same, and their first name will just be a capital A, okay? A capital letter of the first initial, because the children need to understand that names should start with a capital letter, and the Foxglove is not a capital letter; it's a lowercase letter. We are going to be doing handwriting with the children. I've noticed that some children do need to start practicing their handwriting, so I may sometimes send some handwriting books, extra handwriting books, for those children who I feel could benefit from it, so you can kind of sort of practice with them at home as well. But we will be doing that at home with them. Okay, so just a quick recap. All children will get their homework every Friday. The homework must be returned the following Tuesday, please. So your child will receive their spellings on a Friday and be tested on the following Friday. The week's spellings will be put into sentences over the weekend as part of their homework as well, as I explained earlier. Okay. If there's any issues, I know it's a little bit tricky at the moment to kind of sort of speak to each other face to face, but you could, your first priority is maybe make an arrangement to meet, to email or to make a phone call to the class teacher. If there's any other issues, it will be the year leader, which will be me. And if the problem has not been resolved at all, then you can speak to the office and make a meeting arrangement with the head teacher, and that can be done by appointment by the office as well. Okay, I think I have covered everything. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions. Let me just stop sharing, and then I will come onto the screen. Okay, I'm really sorry. I hope I haven't been rushing you all. But at the same time, as I said to you, if you don't want to kind of sort of ask questions within the group that everybody can hear you, I'm more than happy for you to kind of sort of have a, ask me a little question in the mornings, and I'm going to give you my email as well for you guys to write it down. So if you get yourself a pen and papers, I can just share my email with you now. There it is. Just enlarge that. Hopefully you can all see it. Okay. Right. Hopefully you've all got that. I'm just gonna. Okay. Right. Now we are so happy to be having the children back in the classroom. And to be honest with you, at the moment, I'm really, really impressed with every single one of them, even though they have missed a lot of learning, during the school closure. They're just very eager to learn, and this is the best time to kind of sort of, get their learning and all the goals that we have in place for them to work with them. So at the moment, what we're going to be doing what you call a recovery curriculum, which means that we're going to kind of sort of focus on what the children have missed in year one, some of the subjects that they missed, to make sure that they haven't got any gaps in their learning as well. But at the same time, we do recognize those children who we feel don't actually need to go back. We're going to be progressing with those children and making sure they make the right progress as well. But from what I've seen with the children, I've spoken to many of you, even though it's early days, I can only say, it will only get better from here with your children in terms of their progress. Okay, right. I have finished for now. I think we've got one question from someone, so I'm just going to unmute you. Okay, it is not allowing me to unmute you, which is strange.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Yeah, I'm mom of Miss Zara Ahmed. I have just question about the tables.
Yes.
You were just saying that we don't need to memorize the table like 4 times 2 is equal to like this.
Yep.
Are you saying that thing like this? So how they will what you can say do the multiplication if they do not memorize the tables like this way?
I'm more than happy for you kind of sort of teach them and memorize the times table the way that you want them to sort of learn it. But the way that we sort of teach them in school, we sort of teach them as doubles, okay, as multiples. So for example, if your child has memorized the 2 times table, if they come across, let's say for example, they know how to say, they know how to answer 2 times 5 is 10, but you haven't actually taught them the 5 times table. So multiplication can be done in any order. So when they do 5 times 2, they may say to you, I haven't done my 5 times table yet. So we just want you to understand that the way that we actually sort of teach the children, we teach them as multiples, but there's nothing wrong with that for the children to memorize the times table from you. Yeah. And then hopefully once they will just bring that experience that they learned from you, and then we will teach them the way that we kind of sort of feel is appropriate for them to learn.
The other way, they will confuse, I think. Yeah, they will confuse, you are saying that. They will confuse if they will get confused about the tables.
Sometimes they can't.
You're saying that if
Yeah, but that was just an example. But by all means, don't let that stop you. We want you to kind of sort of teach the children the multiplication, and they can memorize it, and then they will hopefully bring that experience that they've learned from you to school, and then we will teach them, the way that we kind of sort of teach them in the school as well. Okay. Is there any questions from anyone else at all?
okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think anybody else has any questions, if I'm correct, or if I missed anybody. Okay, right, okay. I think that's going to be the end of our meeting, but please, feel free to, I won't be able to answer a lot of questions for you at the gate, but you've got my email now, so if there's any further questions that you have, email it to me, and I'll make sure that I get back to you as soon as I can. And you can also make a phone call meeting with me as well. If you leave a message at the main office, I will be able to call you back on your mobile or on your landline. Okay. Thank you very much, all of you. Okay. Take care.
Okay, thank you
We'll
so
see
much.
you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.